Daniel, can I ask you something? What tips can you give someone when they're planning a trip for the first time to Cape Town?
So I think the challenge with Cape Town compared to a lot of the other countries I've been to is we're sitting in a space that is one of the top tourist destinations in the world, but it's also perceived as potentially not safe by many people due to some of the news floating around internationally. Joburg is a bit of a different beast, even Durban, also some of the other towns, but Cape Town specifically is a very safe city to move around in. But there are a few areas that you need to be aware of and then try to avoid, especially during night times. I think it'd be a good idea for us to kind of run through some of those. So what I've done is that, so you're coming to Cape Town, you're going to be landing here at Cape Town International Airport. So that's over here. You guys can obviously see that. There we go. So this is then the N2 that goes from Cape Town International into the city. This is the CBD over here. And over here we have the waterfront, the V&A waterfront. Now our event will be taking place over here at Century City. So that's on the N1, which is running over here, which also goes into Cape Town. Now Century City, if you're driving from Cape Town and there's no traffic to Century City, it's a quick drive, about 15 minutes, and we're going to be landing here. So what we want to do is ideally stay either in Cape Town CBD or in Century City. And I know there's already a lot of hotels that the team can look at, which we have discounts. Now, the massively important thing here in terms of the security conversation was most of the areas around Cape Town directly are very safe. So you've got the whole CBD, which is safe gardens. You've got the Boerskloof over here. You've got the city bar itself. The city bar is mostly safe, but it can get quite noisy. So I wouldn't recommend that you actually stay in the middle of town. So that would be here, kind of Bree Street or Long Street. Long Street is the party street. So if you're staying in Long Street, there's going to be a lot of noise. That's over here. So Long Street, a lot of noise. Kloof Street up here, very safe, very nice to stay. A lot of wonderful restaurants and then also the nightlife. If you want to be slightly more in the touristy space, anything around here close to the V&A waterfront, Green Point, Three Anchor Bay are all extremely safe, even Sea Point over here. So just to give you some idea, I've just moved around from the city bowl, just around the coast there. So all of that very safe. Camps Bay on the other side is very expensive and there's a lot of traffic. So you don't want to be Camps Bay, that's going to be too far. And then Woodstock is a bit dodgy, it's a bit unsafe. So I would not stay in Woodstock, especially as a tourist. And also here, this District 6 area in town under Ruland Street, you don't want to be between Darling and Ruland Street. So this is also not a great area to stay. Naturally, if it's nighttime, rather take an Uber. Ubers are very accessible in Cape Town, very easy for you to use. So download the Uber app and you can travel almost anywhere. And then if you're going out closer to Century City, I would stay inside of the Century City compound or in the area around. You can stay close by to it, but I wouldn't venture too far into an Edgemead or Botha as these areas are just very residential. So it's going to be a bit odd staying there. You won't be able to do much at night and there's not a lot of restaurants or other things to go to. If you want to be more in this part of, then going to your Blaauwberg Strand over here is quite nice. It's built more for residential and day tourism. It's not really a night tourist space. And massively important, if you're going to be staying in Cape Town, you can drive against the traffic on the N1 in the morning to Century City, and then against the traffic again if you come back at night into Cape Town. If you're staying on the other side of Century City, so that's Bellville, Durbanville, any of these areas, again very residential, so also not really ideal for somebody to stay. I wouldn't go anywhere below the N1 really, so I wouldn't stay in Epping, Matruus, Malherbe, Delft, Blue Downs, Mitchells Plain, Kandija, Ottery, Grassy Park. These are not safe areas to stay, so don't stay in any of these. And if you're then further out in Stellenbosch, where I stay, or in Paarl, you're going to have hectic traffic. So I would recommend rather staying in town than staying out of town, especially on the N1.
Thank you so much, Daniel. That was such an in-depth geographical overview of Cape Town, and very, very technical. I think everybody gets to enjoy that. I just want to ask you one question, Daniel. What are the first impressions someone will get when they fly into Cape Town?
So flying in Cape Town, you're going to see the mountain, Table Mountain. If it's a beautiful sunset, the sun sets on the other side of Table Mountain. It's kind of beautifully backlit. You'll have epic views of the ocean, which is all around you. So if you're seeing Table Mountain, you can see the waterfront, you can see the bay, and then you'll probably take a turn around and come in from the other ocean on the other side. So it's just beautiful, beautiful landscapes. And then as you get closer, you're going to see some of the Stellenbosch winelands, and then a lot of residential areas. So it's quite residential when you land in Cape Town.
Let's talk about weather, Daniel. Any misconceptions that people have about Cape Town weather?
Yeah, so I mean that's a big one. It's called, we get four seasons in one day quite often, and that's definitely a reality. So if you're staying in Cape Town itself, you're going to have very moderate climate. So it's 16 to 25 degrees Celsius days. Most days, if it goes above that, it's going to maybe be quite high humidity, but the chances of that happening end of March is quite slim. So it's probably going to be more of a moderate, slightly cooling temperatures, especially during the night. It'll probably be around 15, 16 degrees. And then during the day, maybe 22 to 25 degrees Celsius. If you're heading out on day trips to somewhere like Paarl or Stellenbosch, there it's going to be potentially much warmer. So currently it's about 32 degrees Celsius every day. Not hectic humidity, but nice warm climate. So shorts and short shirts. If you're in Cape Town, it's definitely more like Pakang's wearing like parkas and hoodies and that kind of stuff that you want to make sure you have with you. And even if you're just going out in the morning and it's fair weather, always a good idea to take your jacket with you if you're in Cape Town, because you can very easily be caught by a kind of cool wind coming from the Atlantic. The ocean around Cape Town is very cold. So if you're planning on swimming, make sure that you're comfortable with very cold water. Otherwise, it's going to be quite hectic.
All right. Now, thank you very much, Daniel, for that. Very, very quite insightful. Let's talk about just the entertainment life of Cape Town, right? What's the culture? I know that's a hard question everyone wants to know. Where are the hotspots?
If you're going out in Cape Town now, firstly, the dining scene, like the restaurants in Cape Town, are top notch. Really, literally some of the best in the world. So if we're looking at like fine dining, there's a lot of amazing restaurants in central Cape Town itself. Lakalum is one of them. In the waterfront, there's wonderful restaurants called Pierre. So if you're in the waterfront, you're in quite good hands. So you can just orientate myself. All right. So here's the Two Oceans Aquarium. The aquarium is a wonderful experience, just going and seeing the aquarium. But the Two Oceans is also quite a high standard to go to. Then if you're going to the waterfront, so here you have quite a few restaurants on the water side. They're okay. So if you want to have a good dining experience that's very safe, you can definitely try out a few of these on the waterfront. Like Karibu is more of a steak restaurant. So Bruga over here, which is slightly more on the pier side, is going to give you wonderful sushi, and then you can also, as I said, try out Pierre and a few other fine dining spots. If you're keen on fine dining, do reach out to me so we can kind of chat about those specifically. And then if you want to go out, Long Street is your friend. So this is Long Street.
Yeah.
And if you're in Long Street, there's a lot of places you can check out. Mama Africa is a dining experience. It's a traditional African one. I would, if you're in Cape Town, rather go somewhere else. And then I think there's, in Long Street, what's cool to do here is just bar hop. So just go to the different bars. You have Sergeant Pepper, you've got a few beer establishments, you've got Van Hunk's, which is over here, up in Kloof Street. So there's Fat Cactus, just up in Kloof Street, some Mexican food and party there. There's Arnold's, there's Wolf, there's Van Hunk's, so that's on the corner of Up in Union and Kloof. And then if you go back slightly more into town, Hank's Old Irish is in Breer Street, and it's a whiskey bar, excellent whiskey bar. So you can definitely try that out if you're keen on having some excellent whiskey and a very cool night out. Very cool spot, and if it's on a kind of weekend, you'll probably have a DJ playing and have some cool vibes there. So there's kind of just a look at what you can expect there, and they also do some food. So this area around Hank's Old Irish, also a lot of cool restaurants to go. Clark's is a very cool spot with all the Cape Town cool kids go there. You've got Chef's Warehouse, which is more of a semi-fine dining, which you can go to during the day to have an excellent lunch. And over here at Heritage Square is also a few cool places that you could try out. So this is definitely a cool area if you're looking for a very safe, very, very Cape Town experience. Village Idiot is also an awesome bar to go to, and they do great ribs and wings. And then Monk's Chinese Food, which is a fast food joint. If you're looking at staying in your hotel and ordering some fast food, Monk's Chinese Food is excellent, very good. I missed that very much from staying in Cape Town. So that's a few spots that I would go to if you're kind of keen to have a bit of a nightlife while you're in Cape Town. And another reason why it's kind of smart to stay in Cape Town is you're then very close to home, so you don't have to take the N1 back to Century City, which doesn't really have a nightlife. So there's not much to do in and around Century City during the night.
All right. Now, thank you very much, Daniel, for that. I want us to talk about just the cultural nuances in Cape Town. So, for example, is there a lingo that people should use?
Yeah, not really. Cape Town's very multicultural. So Cape Town is very much a little Europe if you're thinking about, what to expect when you're coming to Cape Town. So it's going to, at some places, like if you're going to Hank's Old Irish, it's going to feel like you're in a European city. If you're going to Century City, it's going to feel like any urban kind of space that you've been in. And then if you go out in town, it's going to have a very multicultural vibe and feeling. So there's not really identity in the same kind of way that you would if you go to Kenya, you go to Ghana, where there's a very clear kind of almost homogenous cultural identity that lives above everything. Cape Town is just a cool space, and it's very trend, so the people are very cool. And then there are naturally a lot of people coming from across Africa. So a lot of people that when you're walking out in Long Street or Loop Street will come from Nigeria, will come from Zimbabwe, Botswana, Malawi, Mozambique. So yeah, I think there's in like kind of one thing that you need to be aware of. But it's a friendly city, I think, which is nice. It's a very cool multicultural space.
No, absolutely fantastic. So Daniel, tell me, so if an entrepreneur brings his family and friends and what should they do during the day?
Yeah, and so, but kind of, I think the kind of big thing here is if you're going to, and I've been to, for example, India, There, if you want to do something like that, you'd have to speak with a travel agent, and you need to find out how to work and navigate around the city and attend things.
Yeah.
In Cape Town, it's not necessary. You can really, for most of the things, just show up. So if you're coming with your family, if you're staying in Cape Town, one of the natural places you need to go to is Table Mountain Cable Way, so that you can literally just look at when the opening and closing times are. You can show up, or you can purchase tickets online. If you purchase tickets online, it's a bit quicker getting into the cable car, and that's going to take you up Table Mountain to have beautiful views from the top. There's a wonderful restaurant at the top where you can grab a beer or eat something with the family, and you can walk around on top of Table Mountain as well. So there's a bit of a walk there. If you're more into hiking and you want to do something with slightly more exercise, then you would want to go to Constantia, and then from there to Kirstenbosch specifically. So you go to Kirstenbosch, and from Kirstenbosch, which is a beautiful garden, also restaurants that you can go and eat at inside of the Kirstenbosch Gardens. And you can just kind of showcase one of these. You can go do Wormsland Canopy Trails. That's just like a trail on top. And you enter here in the morning, you can actually take a trail all the way up Table Mountain and then walk across the top of Table Mountain. You can have a swim on the reservoirs at the top here, and then from there walk to the cable car and then take the upper cable car station back down to town. So that's an amazing day trip activity with the family that's also not going to cost a lot. If you're looking more for just some time on the beach, you can go to Camps Bay Beach. That's quite a nice beach. The wind does pick up quite a bit, and there's quite a few nice restaurants here. As I've mentioned, the waterfront has a lot of activities. You can take a day trip from the waterfront out to Robben Island. So Robben Island is where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned, and they've got a walkway there. So you can go through the actual prison that is still there, go experience what it was like. It's a guided tour, so you'll need to just look at what times are available. But again, just go to the waterfront, and from there you can book your tickets. So that's going to be over here, Nelson Mandela Gateway, and from there you'll be able to take a boat and they'll instruct you how to go further. So not a lot of pressure in terms of planning that. If you're looking to go out of Cape Town, there's always Stellenbosch, which is the wine valley of Cape Town and where most of South Africa's wine is produced. So if you're going to Stellenbosch, you can rent or hire a car, and from there get somebody to drive you, or if you have a designated driver, drive yourself. The roads are very easy to navigate, and also Cape Town is #blessed that we don't have potholes or any challenges like that. So it's a very easy road to navigate, and everyone abides by the traffic rules. And then you can go to a recommendation internationally, and this is actually more on this side, Babylonstoren, which is spelled like that. Amazing space to go to. It has a wine museum, and then also they've got a new thing called Soetmelksvlei, which is a little piece of the farm they've taken and they've re-established it to look like a 1800s farm, where they're showing exactly what the processes were like back then. And then around Stellenbosch, there are many wine farms to go to, like Boschendal, like Dalheim. If you're planning a day trip to the wine farms, feel free to reach out so we can chat about which ones you're going to make sure you go to the best. There's more than 100 different estates that you can visit, and more than 300 wine farms in the broader Stellenbosch wine valley area. So really a lot to experience there. And then if you want to go outside of town, do a bit of a day trip, you can go up the coast to IJsselfontein, or you can go to Paternoster, which is also an amazing little town to visit, and you'll probably want to spend, when you go Paternoster, maybe spend a day there, sleep over there, make a day or two trip out of it. a lot of beautiful accommodation there and seafood restaurants there, including one of the top-rated seafood restaurants in the world called Malherbe, which won the best restaurant in the world a couple of years ago. So wonderful day trip there. I think that's a few highlights. Key takeaways: super safe to travel around, so you don't need to arrange it with anyone. Feel free to reach out if you're interested in anything outside of what I've just mentioned, like going to Musenberg to do maybe a bit of a surf school, so there's a surf emporium, or anything else that you might have stumbled upon and you're not sure about.
All right. Thank you so much, Daniel, for that. I mean, by now the whole Seed community is so eager to go to Cape Town, and thank you so much. Any parting words, Daniel, as we come to a close?
Yeah, Bakang, I mean, for me, it's a privilege that everyone is coming to Cape Town and have so many people attending and all the excitement building up to it. I'm really hoping everybody is making a trip out of it. It's not often that you get the opportunity to travel to different countries, and it's definitely worth it to take a few extra days and really embrace everything that Cape Town has to offer. And I really do want to extend an open hand to anybody coming and say, ask questions, make sure that you've planned it out nicely so that when you hear, you don't look around and say, I wish I kind of knew what I should have planned or should have thought about. But yeah, looking forward to seeing everyone and having an amazing event.
No, thank you so much, Daniel, for that. And to all of you guys who are flying into Cape Town, wish you guys a safe trip and can't wait to see you at the summit.